Let me start off by saying, this happened several years ago, but the memory is as stark as the night it transpired. I will try to give as much detail as possible, but it's a long story, and I don't want anyone to lose interest. My wife, fiancé at the time, and I were living in a rental home. My sister was in between homes and was living with my mother at the time. She worked as a cocktail waitress at a local casino. It was Saturday, and she knew she'd be getting off very late that night. She asked if she could come crash at our house so that she wouldn't wake up my mother and father at such a late hour. I told her that it was okay. Between my wife and I, we have 4 kids. At the time, only 2 of them were home. My boys, aged 11 and 5. I remember it was around 2 a.m. when I heard a knock on my bedroom window. I hopped out of bed, assuming it was my sister. I walked down the hall, and in the hallway was my youngest son. He asked me what was going on. "Your Aunt Jenny is here. I'm going to let her in. Hop back into bed, and I'll tuck you back in." He got back in bed, and I turned to head down to the back door to let my sister in. I remember looking out the large plate glass window we had in the living room and seeing my sister's SUV. I headed through the house and out the back door located by the utility room. There was a small concrete patio that extended out to the corner of the house. I didn't have any shoes on, and it was a bit cold outside. I walked to the edge of the patio, and I looked around the corner. The window to my bedroom was about 40 feet down from the corner. There, in the shadows, was my sister, or so I thought. She appeared to be peering into the window. I called down to her. "Jenny, come in the house down here." She turned towards me, and something was off. It still looked very much like my sister, but her hair was darker than normal. She looked to be wearing a black dress and a black shawl. Of course, it was very dark, so it's hard to make out any specific details. After she turned to me, it appeared as though she was crying, and was waving her hands as if to say, "Don't come down here." Great, I thought. Her boyfriend broke up with her, and she's crying. So I started walking towards her, and called out her name again. "Jenny, what's wrong? Come in the house. It's cold out here." This is when shit gets weird. She was still doing the waving thing, and I was walking towards her. All of a sudden, she phases, and is no longer standing by the window, but immediately appears 15 feet further away, up against my neighbor's chain link fence. Of course I freeze, and my heart starts pounding like a jackhammer. My first thought was, I was looking at the ghost of my sister, and that maybe she died in the car accident or something on her way home from work. Morbid, I know. I started walking towards her again, rather hesitantly. "Jenny? Are you okay? What's going on?" Again, she's doing the arm waving. I get about 10 feet from her, and she phases again, this time appearing about 10 feet from the fence in my neighbor's backyard. I take a few more hesitant steps, and she phases me, but this time more in a series of phases, at an angle. She eventually phases to a point where she disappears through the neighbor's garage, and then she's gone. I'm stunned. My heart is racing. My mind is in overdrive. I'm really freaking out that I just saw my sister's ghost, and I begin to feel a sense of dread, and I start to turn the corner and head out to the front of the house. I just know if my sister's SUV is still there, I'm going to lose it. As I make my way to the front yard, I'm relieved to see it's absolutely there. What the hell is going on, I wonder. I'm heading to the front door, and my sister's boyfriend was there knocking on the door. "Jason, where the hell is my sister?" I just about made him jump out of his skin, but he said, "She's inside." I follow Jason inside, and there on my couch is my sister, talking to my fiancé. My head is spinning. "Jenny, did you just come in? Were you just outside and didn't you hear me call you?" "No, I knocked on your window and I headed around front. Ash let me in after a couple of minutes." "Where were you? That was like 15 minutes ago." I knew she wasn't exaggerating because she had already changed out of her work uniform and into her pajamas. It felt like I had been outside for only a couple of minutes, but apparently I had been out there for a while. I recounted the story of what just happened to my fiancé, sister, and my sister's boyfriend. They were dumbfounded.